There's no need to hack and slash your way through the Halloween saga. Here's an easy-to-understand timeline of killer events. Set in the autumn of 1978, John Carpenter's Halloween tells the spooky tale of the Boogeyman, embodied by Michael Myers through his murderous rampage in Haddonfield. Babysitter Laurie Strode comes across his path in a real wrong place, wrong time scenario. Her friends Linda, Annie, and Bob are picked off, and Laurie is left alone to confront the literal embodiment of evil. Michael's doctor Sam Loomis tracks the escaped mental patient from Smith's Grove Sanitarium to the otherwise quiet Midwestern town. Loomis spends most of the night scouring the streets and camps in front of Michael's childhood home. In the finale, Michael nearly strangles Laurie to death, but Loomis shows up in the nick of time and fires several shots into his chest. Michael tumbles off the bedroom balcony and disappears into the night. 1981's Halloween 2 picks up moments later. Michael wanders the Haddonfield streets, going from house to house before making his way to the hospital. The sequel plays out as one might expect, ending at the hospital where Laurie spends the entirety of the film. Nurse Marion Chambers reveals to Loomis that Michael is Laurie's brother, suggesting he has a hunger to kill his family, a motive that would go on to fuel 3 more Myers-centered sequels. The film ends with Loomis whipping out his lighter and exploding an operating room. Both are presumed dead. Halloween H2O, 20 years later, finds Laurie now in hiding. Turns out she merely faked her death in a car accident, and now serves as esteemed headmistress Carrie Tate of the prestigious Hillcrest Academy in Summer Glen, California. A functioning alcoholic, she still has nightmares about that ill-fated night in 1978, and is tended to by her son John. Nurse Marion returns in a cameo role, having taken care of Loomis before he died and kept his countless files on former patients. Michael was believed dead, as his body was never recovered after the hospital explosion.
It happened on Halloween.
He shows up, however, and rummages through Marion's office and finds a file on Laurie, revealing her whereabouts. After killing Marion and neighbors Jimmy and Tony, he sets sights on California. On Halloween, Michael arrives in Summer Glen and makes his way to Hillcrest Academy. Through stealthy maneuvering, he tricks security guard Ronnie into unwittingly letting him inside the gates. John's friends, Charlie and Sarah, as well as Laurie's boyfriend Will, are killed in gruesome ways. In a triumphant turn of events, Laurie realizes it's now or never to put an end to things, and battles Michael in one of the most thrilling finales in horror history. The film wraps with Laurie chopping off Michael's head, and it certainly feels like a definitive ending. Or maybe not. 3 years later, Laurie is committed to the Grace Anderson Sanitarium for killing the wrong man. 2 nurses reveal that Michael Myers switched jumpsuits with a paramedic and crushed his larynx. He then could not alert Laurie that he was a father of 3, Nurse Wells says, and not a psychotic killer. Laurie hides pills inside her Raggedy Ann doll. She must stay vigilant for Michael's eventual return. On Halloween 2001, Michael shows up and eliminates the only 2 security guards on duty through decapitation and a good old-fashioned neck slicing. Up on the roof, Laurie has laid a shamefully obvious booby trap for him, and he steps right into it. Laurie hangs him out to dry, but he manipulates her into believing he is another innocent man. Laurie reaches for his mask, and Michael flips her over the edge and digs his knife into her back. She kisses him and says a last goodbye.
I'll see you in hell.
Resurrection then jumps ahead 1 year and follows a group of college kids camping out in the Myers house. A production company called Dangertainment stages the home as it would have looked in 1963 and has a group of contestants wear cameras and live stream their overnight experience. Soon enough, Michael crashes the party. He's eventually electrified and hauled off to the morgue, putting a final nail into the Michael Myers saga. After Halloween 3 Season of the Witch bombed with critics and fans, the creative team sought to bring Michael Myers back. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, picks up a decade after the original film and follows Laurie Strode's daughter, Jamie Lloyd. It's been a year since her mother and father died in a tragic automobile accident, and Jamie has been taken into foster care with the Carruthers. Their own daughter Rachel draws close to Jamie as an older sister figure. Having been under wraps since almost burning to death at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, Michael is transported from Ridgemont back to Smith's Grove Sanitarium. A conversation between 2 ambulance personnel reveals to Michael that he still has a living relative, and it reignites his bloodlust. He murders both attendants, causing the ambulance to crash, and makes his way to Haddonfield. Countless bodies hit the floor, including Rachel's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Brady. Eventually, only Rachel and Jamie are left alive inside the Meeker home. Intuitive and smart, Rachel climbs up on the roof and later comes to Jamie's rescue inside the elementary school. In the big finale, Rachel runs the Shape over with a truck, and the state police finally show up to blast Michael down an abandoned mine shaft. Once at home, Jamie stabs her foster mother in the collarbone. It's an ending that seems to suggest that Michael's evil has passed on to his niece.
Stop it, okay? Stop it!
Halloween 5: The Revenge of Michael Myers picks up the same night after the events of the previous film, merely to show the audience how Michael escaped the mine shaft. As state troopers attempted to blast him to smithereens, Michael crawled out of a hidden entrance and was swept away into a nearby river. He eventually was caught in a fisherman's net and made his way to a secluded cabin, where a hermit nursed him back to health for a full year. The film is largely set in 1989. Traumatized beyond belief, Jamie is a mute with a psychic link to her deranged uncle and has been committed to a children's hospital. Rachel continues to visit frequently, along with her best friend Tina, who Jamie has grown close to. This Halloween, evil comes back with a vengeance and litters the Haddonfield streets with more bodies. Rachel meets an untimely demise, as do a slew of friends. All Michael wants is Jamie, but Tina isn't about to let that happen. She sacrifices herself to give Jamie and her friend Billy a chance to escape. Jamie pleads with Loomis to kill Michael, but the doctor is more unhinged than ever. He hatches a plan to use Jamie as bait inside the Myers house, giving police enough time to arrive. Michael is handcuffed and hauled into jail. Unfortunately, it's a vain effort. The mysterious man in black guns down the entire police force, and Michael vanishes without a trace. 6 years later, Jamie escapes from a druid cult obsessed with Michael, who they believe to be a sort of avatar of evil. The cult, led by Dr. Wynn, has forced her to give birth to a baby boy named Steven. On Halloween Eve, she escapes and drives to the closest bus station, where she hides Steven inside a bathroom before continuing her trek through the countryside. Michael eventually runs her off the road and impales her on farm equipment. Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers then pivots to Laurie's uncle, John Strode, and his family. His daughter Kara and her son Danny have recently moved back after some time away. But an abusive home life leaves much to be desired.
All it takes is a mother's touch.
Tommy Doyle makes a reappearance as a traumatized, paranoid, Michael Myers-obsessed neighbor. By chance, he finds Jamie's child and unites with Dr. Loomis. Tommy meets up with Kara and Danny and explains his discovery that Michael has been acting under the power of an ancient druid curse called Thorn. Should the cult get a hold of baby Steven or Danny, the curse will pass on to them, continuing the cycle of evil. Michael returns home, seemingly hunting for baby Steven, and kills Kara's family before going after the others. Tommy, who is left to meet up with Dr. Loomis, returns to save them just before Dr. Wynn and other cult members show up to whisk the remaining Strodes away to Smith's Grove Sanitarium. The final showdown culminates there, with the reveal that Steven is Michael's child. Kara, Tommy, and the kids manage to escape, with Michael's fate left a mystery. Rob Zombie's Remake inhabits a grittier perspective on the Michael Myers saga. Michael's mother, Deborah, dances at the local Red Rabbit Lounge and has married an abusive alcoholic named Ronnie. Michael's sister, Judith, is far more concerned about her boyfriend than anything to do with the family. On an ill-fated Halloween night, Michael snaps and kills his entire family except for the baby and Deborah, who is working that night. She comes home to find an absolute bloodbath, and Michael is committed to Smith's Grove Sanitarium for treatment. Michael spends the next 15 years working with Dr. Loomis. Over the years, however, he slowly descends further into madness. He continues working on his spooky mask, but has stopped talking and disappears into himself. In his isolation, his emotions are forged with an unknown evil that provokes him to escape on Halloween night in 2007. He tracks down his long-lost little sister, Laurie, and kills everyone around her, including her adoptive parents. In the third act, Michael kidnaps Laurie and takes her back to their childhood home. During the scuffle, Michael charges at Laurie on the balcony as both tumble and land with a thump on the ground below. Covered in blood, Laurie manages to aim her pistol squarely at Michael's face and pull the trigger. It's been a year, and Laurie is stricken with unimaginable night terrors. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 finds her living with her friend Annie and Sheriff Brackett. She makes weekly therapy appointments, but nothing seems to be stopping the pain and guilt she feels roaring through her body. During an especially emotional scene, Laurie reads in Dr. Loomis's book, The Devil Walks Among Us, that she's actually Angel Myers, Michael's sister. She lashes out and generally seems to be living a far more reckless lifestyle. Michael has been undergoing his own transition as well. Living as a drifter, he aimlessly wanders the countryside with no real purpose or motive. His mind begins hallucinating visions of his mother and a younger version of himself accompanied by a white horse. They instruct him that he must reunite with his sister, so he makes his way back to Haddonfield. As per usual, it's a wasteland of carnage as he circles around Laurie. Her new group of friends drop like flies, as does Annie. Michael then drags Laurie away to a secluded cabin where she sinks into her own psychosis. The police discover the remote shed, where an epic shootout occurs. Michael kills Loomis before being shot by Brackett and then lit up by the police force. Laurie dons Michael's mask and walks out into the spotlight. Sometime later, she is committed to a hospital. In the distance, Deborah and a white horse amble toward her.
It was a good dream, a really good dream.
In David Gordon Green's reboot sequel, Halloween, Laurie Strode has been doomsday prepping for 40 years. Her remote home on the outskirts of Haddonfield is equipped with high-voltage spotlights, an underground safe room, and a backyard littered with mannequins for shooting practice. By all accounts, she is more than ready for the boogeyman's inevitable return. However, she failed to properly care for her daughter Karen. Child Protective Services intervened and took Karen away when she was 12 years old. She now mightily resents her mother, while Laurie's granddaughter Allison attempts to bridge the generational gap and stop cycles from repeating. Michael Myers has spent 4 decades in captivity, as one investigative podcaster puts it. During a routine transfer from Smith's Grove Sanitarium to a maximum security facility, the bus crashes, leading to Michael's escape. His long-awaited return is nothing short of chaotic. Between Halloween and Halloween Kills, both films taking place over the course of Halloween 2018, the monstrous villain picks his way through the suburban neighborhood, collecting bodies on bodies on bodies. After Karen baits Michael with his mask, leading him into a championship ring with other townsfolk, including former Sheriff Brackett and Tommy Doyle, Michael somehow manages to slaughter them all. He returns to his home, where he discovers Karen standing in his spot by the window. In a surprise attack, he slashes Karen to ribbons. Corey Cunningham is 21 and has the world at his feet. But on Halloween night 2019, his entire life changes. While he's babysitting a young boy named Jeremy, the kid plays a practical joke and locks Corey in an upstairs room. Corey begs to be freed and starts kicking the door. The door finally bursts open and hits Jeremy, flinging the kid over the banister. He falls 2 stories and dies. Corey is initially charged with manslaughter, but is ultimately cleared and attempts to move on with his life. But Haddonfield isn't about to forgive or forget. 3 years later, Corey is still seen as a monster. Life gets better, however, when he meets Allison, and the two quickly strike up a romance, despite Laurie's growing suspicion. Meanwhile, there hasn't been a sign of Michael Myers for 4 years. When a group of bullies throw Corey off an overpass, Michael discovers his body and drags him into an underground lair. There, he chokes Corey and transfers a piece of his evil to him. Corey subsequently begins his own reign of terror, killing those who have wronged Allison and himself. Spiraling further into evil and madness, he returns to challenge Michael and takes his mask. He then goes after Laurie, who shoots him squarely in the chest. Corey then stabs himself, seeking to frame Laurie, but fails when Michael arrives to retrieve his mask and finishes Corey off. In the finale of Halloween Ends, Laurie faces her monster one last time, stabbing him in the chest, nailing his hands to a countertop, and cutting his throat. Once police arrive, the town gathers in a procession and heads to the junkyard, where Michael's body is shredded.